I describe as an addict the white noise of addiction. It's super triggering. It either made me want to take drugs or drink or have sex. I was also like, listen, I'm not going to be a Christian. I don't really like those guys, don't like their deal. I've seen what it is, not interested.
Tell us about your big walk.
679 kilometres over 30 days. Trying not to throw up by myself because I was too proud to use a phone.
Oh, wow. Hey, we're so glad you're here.
We talk about faith, no filter. Welcome to Filthy Hope.
Reverend brother.
Reverend sister.
We have a new beautiful friend with us today.
Our sister friend from the UK.
Yeah, Elizabeth Meadows.
Hey!
Back for part 2.
Yeah, can stay away.
We are so excited, sister, to have you.
If you haven't caught us, we're chatting with Elizabeth, who connected with Filthy Hope as part of, I guess, her search for meaning and faith and all that, and found Filthy Hope, came all the way to Australia for a wedding, and then crossed all the way from the other side of Sydney Harbour to find, from the North Shore to the eastern southern shore, to find Ness and Uniting Heart and Soul and Wallara.
So great.
Who sponsored this whole thing.
So cool.
Just because, she'd heard us, or heard you.
Yeah.
I hadn't been even on, well, I've been a visitor.
And you know what Liz said to me when she bumped into me at church? She recognised my voice first, not my face, because she didn't watch us. She only listened to us. And you said to me something interesting and something that I forget about. You said, I related to you, Ness, because you were an actor also. Yeah. And I think that's something we should unpack. And I said, what do you mean actor also? So you're an actress, Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a story about that because we didn't really touch on that in our first episode.
You mentioned going to drama school.
Went to drama school, but you're working as an actor with an agent and...
Yeah, I mean, working's a strong word this year, but other years.
But we can have seasons like that.
Totally.
When there's less success in the market, but then you can have bumper years when you get job after job.
Yeah, and also, I've had times where I've had loads of work and I've been unhappy, and I've been times where I've had no work and I have been happy. Like, it's what is success, you know? It's like the piece that we were talking about last time.
Just before we get into the really juicy stuff, what sort of stuff have you done in your acting?
I hate it when people ask me that.
What's your resume?
What's my resume? It's a lot of commercial, but hey, that pays your bills.
It
You
does.
can't complain about commercials.
Yes.
And a lot of theatre. So I was in a play by Sarah Kane not long ago. I don't know if you know her.
I don't know Sarah.
She's fortunately passed away in the almost 20, probably more than 20 years ago now. She wrote a lot of abstract theatre in the 90s about being a little bit not okay.
Wow.
Not always they don't always have narrative form, but they're quite hard hitting. So I was in that, which was a really amazing experience. And then last year I got to tour Germany with a play.
Cool. Love that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So just bits here and there. And at the moment I'm on a journey where me and my creative partner we've just opened a rehearsal studio for working class actors because finding a space to rehearse in is really expensive. So we found a place in an old industrial mill and we've done it up on a budget, and we're saying hey, please come and exhibit your art and rehearse your art, and we're going to give you the best price we possibly can. So it's early days. It's been really stressful.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
So entrepreneurial
and altruistic
yeah,
as
it's
well.
amazing.
That's
and what we'll do is in our show notes, we'll put a link to where they can find you. Artists can find you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'd love... even if you can't do anything in Australia, a follow does a lot, right? So we'd love, come, and we're going to have, hopefully in the next 6 months, exhibitions and
how wonderful,
and music. And,
in Manchester.
Yeah.
So cool.
Fabulous.
And I'm going to come and visit you in Manchester.
Has it got a cool name?
It's called What's Mine Is Yours Studios.
Oh, I love that.
That's cool. Yeah, thank
That's a bit Jesus-y.
Yeah, it's totally Jesus-y.
And that's why we're here. If you didn't tune in previously, and this is your first time on Filthy Hope, I'm John Humphries.
And I'm Vanessa Williams-Henke.
And Liz has come all the way. And we've had a previous chat with her about her life story and some of her steps of faith, which did include some 12 steps programs as well. So do check that out and like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff if you're watching on YouTube. But anyway, today we wanted to talk with Liz about
Her journey.
and walking, because she has done recently a lot of walking. So we'd like to hear her journey in faith.
Would you actually like to know how I'm Christian first? Would
Yes.
that kind of contextualize everything?
I think
You
it's
tell us what you would like to tell
I know
us.
I'm not the host, but I was also
I
like, it's
love
not going to make
that.
sense.
No, let's hear about your walk in faith and then how walking in faith then happens. So, yeah, cool.
Yeah, so like we talked last time about the 12 steps.
Yes.
Sometime through that journey, I stopped. I couldn't listen to secular music anymore because it was super triggering. It either made me want to take drugs or drink or have sex. And I was like, well, they are actually the three things I can't do right now. And I started listening to worship music. And that's when I kind of like was maybe a little bit more open to Christianity, but I was also like, listen, I'm not going to be a Christian. Like, I don't want to be a Christian. I don't really like those guys. Don't like their deal. I've seen what it is. Not interested. And then
Some of us are pretty crap. Yeah.
I don't know, but also arrogance, right? It's like I thought I knew. And the minute I think I know generally anything, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't. But yeah, then a few things happened. One was that I got this weird conviction to read the Bible, and I'd never wanted to read it before in my life. So I did, and I started in Genesis, which is really not a great place to start. But I was like, well, it's a pink book.
It is the start.
Yeah. So there was
First
that.
chapter, normally it's where you would go.
Yeah,
Interesting.
to be fair.
That's tricky. Back off her. Stop being a minister. Keep going. Liz.
If you see it as a book, that's a logical place to start.
Yeah.
You know? Some people don't realise that the Bible is actually a library
Yeah,
of books.
totally.
So no,
Which
it
I
makes
didn't
sense
either.
to start at the first page. I mean, that
Yeah.
makes sense. So sorry, I interrupted.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of peace in those first pages, you know, with the stillness on the water. And But anyway, yeah, and then there was also a boy I knew who I thought was super attractive. And God knows my heart. And he is a Christian. And he was like, yeah, I've been going to church. It's been really good. And I was like, well, I wouldn't go to church because of him. But, you know, maybe that's what it was.
I
And
moved
I was
church
like,
because of a girl
yeah,
once. So that's
right?
Yeah.
It's like, however we're going to get there, hey, at least I got there. And so then I feel like there was one other thing. Oh, yeah, there was the worship music and the guy and the Bible thing. So those three things kind of, I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk into a church. And similar to how I felt when I walked into a 12-step program, I felt at home. And I ended up being baptized at that same church, and there was a moment probably a few months going into church where I realised a lot of the spiritual principles I've been taught in a 12-step program, which isn't Christian, were in the Bible.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is kind of making sense to me. Like this whole confession thing, I guess, is kind of similar. And then I started to really read what Jesus said, and when I inwardly accepted Jesus as my Lord and Saviour, which is still actually a really weird sentence for me to say, my mindset and my mental clarity was, the change was like night and day. Like I describe as an addict, and anyone that's experienced addiction will know, I call it the white noise of addiction. There's obsession there all the time, obsession over people, places and things. And when I accepted Jesus for the first time in my life, it was like the mute button was put on for the first time.
Beautiful description.
Yeah.
And that's a 12-step in itself, in a way, one of the steps of submission. So you've given your life
The surrender, yeah,
surrender.
totally.
So, wow. And
I didn't think it would work.
And
I
it did.
I'm a super doubtful.
but you didn't do it
doubtful
because it
person.
would work.
Yeah.
You just did it because it was the right thing you felt to do. Wow.
Interesting. You had a mute button went on to silence what was going on for you that was cluttering your brain. I had a firecracker up my ass that exploded
Yeah.
me into a new sense of self and being. So the firecracker, in a sense, became the noise that I needed to listen to.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. I would like,
So
I was in this
interesting.
job that I hated, which I'll say a lot. I always hate my job. So I'm very ungrateful. I remember like I'd have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning and cycle through like in the winter, cycle to work, and I'd be like, woo, get along. And I remember this customer came in and was like, did you get lucky or something last night? Which I was fuming about. And I was like, no, I just met Jesus. Like,
I got lucky, sister.
yeah, you could say that.
I scored.
Yeah. Won the ultimate prize. Like,
Wow.
Right? And then skip to 3 years later, and I did a really big walk. A really, really big walk.
So you became
Did you do that because somebody said you should? Or what led you into... And the walk is the Camino de Santiago, which is a whole range of different big walks that you can do around Europe as a sort of spiritual pilgrimage.
Yeah.
So how did you even find that as something to do, and then what then would motivate you to go and say, well, I'm going to give up like months or something to go just walking for the sake of your soul?
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking. I'd heard about it. I remember I did an RE GCSE, which is like the exams we take when we're 16 in the UK. And part of it was about pilgrimages. So I knew pilgrimages existed. I actually had this awesome teacher who was a great evangelist. She was really chill about it. And me and my friend were always like, maybe one day we'll do a pilgrimage, even though we weren't Christian.
Yeah. In Australia, it's called Studies of Religion. But sort of stuff. So cool.
And then like last November, I was having a hard time just like with depression and kind of like a few things in my addiction coming up, and a little bit like the thought I talked about last time where I heard God say, go to a 12-step program. I heard, you should walk the Camino.
Wow.
And I like sat up in bed and was like, it was like this feeling was lifted, and it just felt like a conviction, which I'd never really experienced before of like, I know I have to do this in my life. So I decided to do it. And at the end of May this year, I got on a plane to Spain and started walking.
All by yourself?
Yeah.
With a backpack?
Yeah.
And good boots?
Great boots.
Yes.
Shout out to Solomon's. They still look new. So thanks. Yeah.
And how far did you walk?
I walked, if I remember right, 679 kilometres over 30 days.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. My friends that run marathons. Nothing. That's incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, it's
wow.
It feels like a dream, to be honest. Like when I think about the experience, I like can't believe I was there and I met these people that I did and had these experiences that I had. It feels so like, because you could walk anywhere, right? But there was something about that route that is so ancient to Christianity and spirituality. You know, because people originally would walk because they believed that the remains of St. James the Apostle were at Santiago, in the Cathedral of Santiago. Right. So people would walk
that's
there.
the significance.
Yeah, and I'm not Catholic, although I've had a Catholic upbringing vaguely. But just in its essence, like, you know, like Jesus was a pilgrim, right? Like when you really think about him walking up, I feel like I really started to understand.
3 years of walking around.
Yeah, he did.
And you read that in the Bible and you're like, okay, so he walked places. But when you're there and you're like going up a mountain and, you know, tomorrow you'll be going down it and and he had no shoes on.
No.
Or like sandals, but like nothing compared
They weren't
to
Solomon's.
Yeah. They weren't on cloud nines.
No.
He was on earth, right? And he had so much. You're already walking with so little, and that's a new perspective in itself of like, I have 2 outfits, one is pajamas. Although anyone that walked with me would be like, she's lying, because they'd be like, why do you have all this stuff? And I was like, I was scared, I didn't know. I sent so much stuff home whilst I was there.
Did you? Yeah.
It's like, I don't need this crap. What a metaphor for life, right?
Yeah.
Why am I walking around with it?
Yeah. A walking outfit, a sleeping outfit.
Yeah.
You carried too
toothbrush.
much stuff.
Yeah. I did take a Bible.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't not.
Yeah.
It was a little one. People were like, you have a phone.
Did you take a phone?
Well, this was a massive part of it, actually. I'm really glad you asked that. This is my first kind of big lesson I learned, which was, I was like, I am done with WhatsApp. My life is WhatsApp. No more WhatsApp. So my phone will be in the bottom of my bag. I've got a guidebook, a physical map. I'm not using a phone. I was really resentful towards technology and like really cynical, which is so easy to be. I did not realize the blessing of what we have. Right? But it became this massive lesson of asking for help.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because like there were days where I was so determined not to look at my phone that I walked like 5 extra kilometres and had to hitchhike back, which, you know, and it was like if I had just looked at my phone and admitted that like, I'm not a GPS, I wouldn't have like walked for an extra like 2 hours in the sun, right? It's like, and then at one point I got food poisoning. And there was a phone number in my little guidebook of an albergue, which is the Spanish word for hostel, a special pilgrim hostels on the road. There was a number of one really nearby, and I could WhatsApp them. Otherwise, I was like on the road, like trying not to throw up by myself because I was too proud to use a phone.
Oh, wow.
Right?
So about finding balance.
Totally. I think I wrote that in. This is my little journal. I think I have like, it's like the balance between acting from fear, I wrote, and surrendering to help because I'm so hyper independent.
And perfectionist.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It plugs right into perfectionism, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I was like, especially like
I can do this. I'm all over this
I'm
map
in
thing.
control.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm in control. My will, totally. God's will is not for me to get lost and injure myself in the heat. Like he wants me to be happy, joyous, and free. He wants me to like, you know, walk his way, not mine. And I'm like, no, I don't need Google Maps. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
wow.
like, yeah, I wrote, but I am learning dependency is not so bad. It's okay to sometimes use my phone. It's safer and more compassionate to check where I am. It's knowing the line between being fueled by fear and asking for help. So, you know,
Beautiful.
right? It's not very messy handwriting, but
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, that's amazing.
What a gift
oh my
that
days.
you've inadvertently given yourself, which is a record of your thoughts and feelings.
Right, yeah. There's so
It's a really powerful thing. If you've never tried journaling before, and it's not diary keeping, but it's actually pouring out your thoughts and feelings for that moment and being raw and radically honest. We used to study, when I was a school chaplain, a diary of one of the Columbine victims.
The Columbine massacre.
Columbine
at the
massacre,
school.
yeah. That
Do you
was
know
shot.
about that? You remember that?
So way back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But they found her journal and you see the highs and the lows. It's a bit like the book of Psalms in the Bible, which is effectively a journal in a way because there's these lovely poems of everything's lovely and I love God and God's the creator of the universe, and then it goes to
dodgy.
What the hell are you doing, God? My life sucks. Everyone hates me.
Right.
I'm feeling crap. Where are you? You're not listening to me.
Yeah.
Fix my life.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
I never thought about it like that as like a journal. That's so cool.
Yeah. I keep a green book that sits in my handbag, and I've only started doing it this year, and it's my answered prayer journal. And so in it, I put down when I've prayed, when those prayers get answered, because when I'm having a day when I think that it all sucks and nothing's working, I can go back and remind myself, hang on a minute, Ness, look what God has done in those answered prayers.
Totally.
Yeah,
Like
it's
stuff-
very powerful actually.
There are so many different ways. So
Makes me
I
feel
did
grateful.
a course on intensive journaling and it's just not me.
Okay.
I just never did it.
Yep.
And some people are arty. Some
Yeah.
people dance journal.
Yeah,
You can video
wow.
yourself
Yeah.
dancing if that's your thing. I write prayers. So
You
that's
do?
my sort of psalmic prayers. Like that's why I think about the Psalms in that way. That's my journaling. So, well, that's awesome. So you've had this amazing
Seeing experience.
What
yeah.
was what? Not that you did it to get something out of it.
I think I did.
Yeah, what did you learn? What was it?
Myself. I think, you know, so much, I mean, it's like a million things to say. I think that is really common on the Camino is a hostel called a Donativo, which is where you can go and you book your bed and you get to sleep and you have a great big meal. And if you want, it's free. You pay as much as you can or you think it's allowed. And so a lot of the energy and like especially there weren't many actually Christian Donativos, but there were some. And the essence was always, you know, it's more blessed to give than receive. And when I was reading this journal, I had read that passage, I think it's in Acts, I don't know, maybe. And the same day that I arrived at this Donativo that had this all over the wall, and I was like, why have I come here? You know, like, I'm so focused on like, what can I get for my spiritual life out of this? It's like, but who am I to the people I'm meeting? You know, everyone I meet, I'm learning so much from. Like, am I that to them? Or am I like in myself and obsessed with myself?
Sucking it all in.
Yeah.
And like, I'll take no in. And I hope that wasn't the case, right? I really hope so.
But even if it was, if that's what you needed at the time, you've come back and you've created this place of what's, you know,
right,
that is just effectively another Donativo
for
actors.
Right, and I didn't even realise that, like, my partner that I work with, he isn't Christian. It's not a Christian enterprise per se. I guess it is for me, like, personally. But it wasn't until like a month after we set it up, I was like, yeah, this is like kind of like the Camino. Like, this is, and isn't. I think some people I've met say like it takes years for the lessons to sink in, and I think you like if we're talking about an aha moment, that like, because I know we don't have loads of time, but I did for the first time on this walk, which I don't necessarily remember every day now, but I felt the depth of God's love for me and for us. Is, you know, How Deep the Father's Love for Us is one of those hymns that like will make me cry every time. And there are so many of these tiny chapels along the way, and they'd be empty and they echo nicely, so they make it sound like I can sing. Yeah. So I would sing that hymn every time I could in there. And I think what made it hit and slowly connect is I talked about that cynicism I had, right? And usually out in the world, if I see like a big human structure in a place of beauty, like a bridge, I'm like, oh, there we are again, humans, just putting up our stuff, ruining everything, like, you know, probably colonization, like all this stuff that, you know, isn't necessarily untrue, but it's cynical. Like, I don't have to think about it that way. And then suddenly, I think it was like a week in where I've been in like nature every single day, and I saw this bridge that was like, I couldn't even guess how many feet. It was like ridiculously big, going through this place in northern Spain. And I started crying. I was like, wow, this probably sounds a bit wanky now, but it was like, human hands made that. Like, we are God's creation and we have created. And then understanding that as a grace God has given me to see that in the world. And that's how much he loves me, that he wants me to see people how he sees them. And then suddenly, like, as I went on, just everything I saw was in this different light of like, we're doing our best. Like, yeah, we keep killing each other and we got to sort that out. And we haven't really stopped doing that. But in so many other ways, if you look at that bridge in the right way, if you look at that right-wing person in the right way, we're trying to do our best. We just get it wrong a lot. And if we didn't, you know, if we got it right all the time, what would be the point in Jesus, right? So it's like, but that was...
He'd probably smile and go, oh,
Thank God they're listening.
Thank me, because I'm God. Finally. Someone gets it, yeah. But I think, yeah, it's an amazing experience.
Oh, such wisdom.
And these moments that are just small, but so significant that change the way we literally see the world.
Right? And like, on the note of like your prayers, it was so also like my dad is an engineer and his speciality is bridges. So that was a whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And then you said about your prayer, totally. Your prayer and the answered prayers thing. I spent a day on one of the days of walking. I have a really complex relationship with my dad. And I grieve a lot for him, and that's like a whole 6 more podcast episodes. But I spent the day like praying for him. I'm really like, you know, the way I learned to pray, I guess, in evangelical church, where it's like I pray for intercession, and Lord, if you are listening, and if you would be so good, like please can you, and like pouring out this love on my dad that I would be so adverse to me usually, and it didn't feel natural, but I was doing it, and that was it. I didn't really address it again, but slowly, you know, a song would come on that I know he liked. And I was like seeing that same grace for my dad of him becoming a human. And it's making me a bit emotional, but, and now, you know, I didn't even realize how answered that prayer was until I saw him. It was really, really beautiful. Like, there were a lot of blackberries on the way, and I will wrap up this story now, I'm sorry. There were a lot of blackberries on the way, and I said to a girl that I met, I was walking with, I was like, my dad has all these blackberries in his garden, and he just like loves picking them, and he talks about, the price of them and how he can get them for free, and it's like a common rant he does. And I was like, I just can't believe that is the same man that I knew in my childhood. And she just said really simply, like, well, I guess that's who he really is under it all.
Wow, yeah.
And I was like,
The better us that we've just got to keep finding.
Yeah, and that
It's a
exists in
journey.
everyone. Yeah.
Journey of self-discovery by not focusing on ourselves.
Yeah. And it's the acceptance of who they are with all their flaws. Like Jesus accepts all of us with all our flaws. And I really relate to you with your dad because as we've talked off camera, I've got a similar relationship with my mum. And when we accept them for who they are in all their flaws, just like Jesus accepts us, who are we to judge? We can't change them.
No, and
can we? We
Just like we can't change us.
No,
but
we've got to love them into their deficits, don't we?
And sometimes the prayer is, Jesus, I can't love him right now, but can you love him for me? Because that's not...
Amazing.
Gee, that's huge.
Oh, thanks.
Wow, that's huge.
That's the best prayer.
Wow.
Until I can.
Gosh.
And Jesus, I believe that eventually I will be able to, but just not right now.
Oh, I think I might copy that.
Right, it's a good one.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's not original.
But you've just given me a gift. That's incredible. Yeah. Thank you.
It's okay.
It's been just amazing talking to you.
It has been.
You've been a gift to the podcast.
And the fact that you came all this way to find Ness.
It's just beautiful.
Sorry you ended up with me, not John D.
Don't be silly. Also, hi to John T.
Yeah.
Hi,
John D.
Please let him know that,
Hopefully we're doing okay.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I've texted him. He knows.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he knows that you're here. So it's just wonderful. It's amazing, Elizabeth. And we wish you all the joy and success in your next part of your life and your journey and
ongoing journey.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It really made, we talk about journey. I mean, if anyone who's done English in Australia, in New South Wales, will have had to write some essay on the life journey. And stuff
That's
like
right,
that.
path.
But you've made it real.
Yeah.
That life is a journey, and hearing your story and how there's just these amazing moments of hope. It's just, and just you come across as a person of hope.
Oh, thanks.
Which
That's
is
so,
amazing.
it's like the best compliment ever.
And
Really
you
are.
say, you've got all this, we call it filthy parts of your story that you if you chose, you probably wouldn't have chosen them in hindsight. But you've given us a gift.
Yeah, and I can see that God is weaving your bits, that your prickly bits or the bits that you see as a deficit, He's weaving them into gold for His own glory. And I can see that. And it's going to be those things and your all the areas you're utilising your 12 steps for are going to be a part of your superpower that you use for the kingdom. And I can't wait to watch what happens in your world. It's going to be a joy to watch you, Elizabeth Meadows.
Thanks. That's so kind.
There's
Stay
the
in
names.
touch.
Yeah.
And if you're ever in
Manchester, look
check
her
out
up.
their studio.
Yeah.
Also, if you're watching, some of us may get on a pilgrimage like you did, and that's awesome. But there are different places and spaces to go that even if you can't do something like a great big walk, we've got one on a bookshelf here is a labyrinth. And most places, they're actually a spiritual discipline that you can do because you walk a labyrinth. It's not a maze. It has one way in and one way out, but yet it's sort of like a brain and it's a journeying. So even if you can't get
To Spain
Yeah.
or
do the Hajj or whatever it is, find a labyrinth or find some ways. Often they're Catholic nuns that have a sense of spirituality, or just Google it. Ways of spiritual disciplines like journaling, like
In the UK, like just Google free retreats. That's
Yeah.
a thing. Like, and there's a lot of, I think there's some Franciscan nuns or monks. I think there's a few places in the UK you can go just to be silent for free.
And
Beautiful.
there's a lovely place in France called Taizé, but there will be Taizé services around. And I went on a pilgrimage to Taizé, except they were closed that week. But we got to spend a week in Paris with about 60,000 young people, all singing these amazing songs that are just single chants. Or look up the World Christian Community for Meditation. That's it. The World Community for Christian Meditation. There's online retreats and online pilgrimages that you can do. Look after your spirit, I think. And that's something I've been inspired. You're an influencer now.
You are an influencer.
You've influenced us.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
We go away thinking,
I know.
How can I be more...
More like Elizabeth Meadows.
Oh, my days, don't do that. Can I leave you with one last thing
Yes.
that I thought went well with what you were wrapping up with is that there's an English mass every day in Santiago. And so when I got there, I went to the English mass, which was really beautiful. And it was a Jesuit priest who was running the service that day, and he'd walked the Camino. And one of his like main things that he said, if I remember right, was, really the Camino starts today. Like you haven't really walked it yet. And once you've started, and I guess that's just a great metaphor for any spiritual journey, is like, the path is the way. Once you've started, you're on it, and it's never not going to be a journey.
Yeah.
And like, so yeah.
And in Christian meditation, we talk about we're always beginners. And, AA, NA, whatever 12-step program, we're always recovering. It's always the process.
Powerful.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Wow,
you
it's
for
been
watching.
such a privilege.
Thank you for having me,
Yeah,
Reverend
I
Sister.
love having you, Reverend Brother. And if you've enjoyed this conversation, hey, you could drop us a couple of likes or even subscribe, and then maybe you can see us again.
Yeah, or however you do that if you're just
Yeah.
listening, because Liz had never seen us before
Yeah,
today.
press the magic buttons, peeps.
Thank you.
Thank you and thank you.
Thank you. Wow,
Bye.
God bless.